gentlemen, to the casting booth. We're going to hop right into the game. Prismatic versus PENTA on Oregon. The North Americans will take over the broadcast for this game. How you doing, Emzo?
I am doing great. What a match. I kind of wish I was in this seat during that last match. That was very exciting. I can imagine this one should be equally exciting because, again, don't underestimate the underdogs in these matches here. What a heck of a match we saw last time. Looks like we're seeing somewhat similar bans already, but Lion is still going to be on board, so that I think is going to be interesting here. Who is going to abuse Lion the best will be, I guess, the biggest test here. So we also haven't gotten the Mira ban just yet as well. I mean, it's very, very likely here, but maybe we'll see 2 of the common bans off.
I'm thinking maybe. I mean, Clash taken out. Oh, there goes Mira. So we still have a Miraless Oregon, which is pretty standard these days, but a Glazless and Yingless Oregon as well.
Well, I mean, Ying's a pretty common ban for this map, but Glaz, I would say Lion is such a common ban now, nearly 100% at times. It is surprising that they would go for a Glaz ban instead, but that just obviously is a weakness to them. Either that or they saw some strength in Prismatic's Glaz and decided, well, we don't want to deal with the way that they play it. Because we definitely saw some Glaz play in that last matchup that was pretty good as well.
Well, we asked who's going to pop the Lion first, and it is Aguila for Prismatic.
Why would you not at this point?
It's a pretty devastating lineup coming out as well for Prismatic. I mean, you're bringing the Thermite as your breach. We have a 6 pick from, that's a hard name to pronounce, Kajut.
Yeah, we'll just call him Q.
I'm down with that. All right, Q. Swapping to a Sledge and then giving it a second shot.
That's the greatest idea, switching off the IQ that was going to be able to counter the Pulse there, because you saw that in the reveal phase. You knew there was the Pulse being played, unless you thought it was a tease. Then again, a lot of the Pulse play on the basement here is going to be pretty predictable. Most of the time, he's going to be in that little laundry cubby looking around. Something we saw a lot of play from Zig, for example, Latin America would do that a lot, as well as we often see that from Canadians. So it is going to be pretty standard, so maybe not a big deal to be able to spot him out. However, hopefully they get some good use out of Capitao, which is a great operator for attacking downstairs here.
I think the biggest shock to me is that the Capitao comes out after Prismatic were the ones who banned Clash. Capitao right now, the #1.
That happened actually last match as well. I saw them.
Yeah.
They had the Capitao. Saw the Clash, or no, they didn't. They 6-picked to the Clash despite seeing the Capitao, which gets got 6-picked off of as well. So these 6 picks definitely keep things interesting.
Absolutely. So standard West-East take for the most part here for Prismatic, and that's it. Defending downstairs for PENTA. Early on Oregon, nothing strange. Was that Hungry rocking the FO12 again? We saw a little bit of this in DreamHack Montreal together, actually.
Yeah.
But hey, man, if it works, then why not?
Works, right? Well, Hungry was one who would really rock that Ying shotgun versus a lot of other players not using it. So, you know, he has his preferences and he makes them work. Enemy, though, almost getting a little bit of free damage there through the drone hole. That drone hole is such a monster at times. We see so many kills and damages through that hole.
Babu trying to ping or just pressure the Jaeger of Enemy playing inside of Meeting. There's not really much of a collapse happening horizontally, but vertically the Zofia of YLZ and Aguila on the line are both topside, trying to pressure down towards enemies. He's the solo man. There's a lot of reinforcement and utility being dumped into Meeting. No one but Enemy playing it.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate how fast they've taken this top floor, though. This is a good initial take by Prismatic. It definitely shows some confidence on their side, although that's what happens with Lions unbanned, right? You could feel a little more confident going into this push. Of course, he's got to be careful not to die too early before they can really utilize his EE1D.
Shocking that Maverick not being banned, also not being brought out from this lineup on Prismatic.
Even in Pro League, it's still the case where he's rarely banned and rarely used. It's just Clash is more that case. But the first kill going onto the operator that was 6-picked, Sir Boss, with a nice kill onto Q, as we'll call him, who is not going to be using that Capitao. Now, unfortunately, that is a late-game operator killed early, so great kill by PENTA.
Sir Boss was trying to retreat towards the laundry rotate. The EOD is going out. He's on top of a mute jammer, takes down 1, tries to go for 2. The real MC will fall, but Aguila will trade it out. Down to about 20 HP. Babu trying to pressure in towards Meeting, and Enemy is retreated all the way back to the tower stairs. And trying to retreat down even further, Babu with a great wall bang through stage wall will drop Enemy level man count 3v3, but they've lost their hard breacher.
Yeah. I got a question why they did not have that hatch in the lobby open already. Now they're going to be in a much worse place. I mean, a 3v3, but a 3v3 where you've got the line at very low health, and they're going to have to fight this in a very tough scenario without the hatch open that they needed. So this is not looking good for Prismatic. despite some good kills.
Looks like Prismatic are all angling to go for a rotate back, and Hungary with that FO12 panics with the shotgun as well, and the info coming from Revan. This looks like it's going to be a lockout for Penta, barring the throw of a lifetime. As one crosses, all the Zofia mines dumping in, but Revan will take down Babu. That was the Jackal trying to push hallway. They're stacking inside of box right now. As Hungary still watching the flank, but more Elo mines being launched in towards the hallway as YLZ prone, trying to crawl up. Revan's going to drop Aguila, trade out by YLZ. It's all up to YLZ now as he's inside a box. He takes down Revan as well. 3 seconds ticking down. He's rushing in towards the closet. No shotgun in hand, but it doesn't matter as Panics, the ever-clutch smoke, will round it out for Penta. Round number 1 going to the, I guess, French combo now. They have a French flag beside their name, but they're not entirely French anymore.
Yeah, definitely Hungary obviously changing that up. And a good initial round for Penta, but I feel like they lost a little more people than I feel like they should have with all the advantage that they had against Prismatic. So good on Prismatic, at least getting that very close towards the end, despite their low health even on the Lion. Good push, but nonetheless, Penta come out on top, which of course means they go to the top on Dorms here. So hopefully they can defend that equally as well, but I definitely see some potential in Prismatic, like I said, with that good initial fast take upstairs, but they did goof a few times in terms of losing, the hard breach earlier as well as the Capitao. Operators they shouldn't have lost early. Those are the two that matter more later in the round.
I was going to say, seeing a Bandit and a Mute in prep, that's got to be a 6-pick, and its enemy who's going to 6 to the Valkyrie. A very good call, especially seeing no one really able to take down those Valkyrie cameras unless you spot them out on your own. No IQ, no Twitch.
I think Mute's a better choice on this top floor because he can jam a bit more, because you can get him to jam the same walls. I mean, there's only really two walls I would say that you really can use the Mute Jammer or the Bandit batteries on. One is the far end of the attic. If you want to be able to play inside attic, you reinforce the side that's on the tower and you jam that. And then of course there's the one in the little bunks room as well, leading towards the master closet. That only again requires one Mute Jammer. That leaves you 2 to be able to cut off drones coming down the hallways or at the top of White Stairs. So I think Mute is all you need. You don't need Bandit.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Enemy still has 1 Valkyrie cam left to throw it onto the map and try and grab some extra advanced intel throughout. That wall just reinforced from the opposite side, or did they miss a reinforcement or intentionally skip a reinforcement on generator wall to closet?
Definitely could be the case that they want to be able to rotate that, but that's such a rare occurrence. I doubt that's the case. They might just be a little bit late on doing it, because you only need so many reinforcements. I can't imagine they just ran out. Well, they are going to have the Valkyrie playing up in the top of the tower. As enemy could go for some cheeky peeks. He is going to have the cameras outside to give him some advantage in being able to try and take those peeks at just the right time. So we'll see if that factors in, but enemy is definitely going to try and hold that, I imagine, for as long as he can, because if you want to take from the kid's bedroom side, you need to have that tower. Well, if you want to take really either side, you kind of need that tower. So it is good to hold control of that for as long as possible, which doesn't seem like they care about taking it from him just yet.
Attackers dropped it.
Rev in the castle. I think he was playing inside a generator. It's going to take down the real MC. That's the breach off the board again.
I don't know if he should be on Thermite. Maybe they need to double hard breach it at this point.
Prismatic doing a terrible job of conserving their breach utility, and YLZ's going to get finished off by enemy who is playing by rear stage. It's a 5v3 early on for Penta. It's only a minute gone. Q is going to trade out Panics finally, but the damage is already done. Q is down to about 20 HP. They still have no progression in towards Master. They can't get the wall open early on. Babu has left the diffuser on the Master balcony as well. It's a mess very early on for Prismatic.
I think this is a much better bomb site for Penta because they get a lot more peeking opportunity that they're taking advantage against Prismatic. Whereas when you're playing a turtle defense down in the basement, you're not going to get a lot of peeks going on outside of maybe Meeting Hall. So this is definitely working out for Penta. Huge man advantage. And losing the Mute, yeah, you lose the C4, but he got most of his utility down already. It's not even close to comparable to losing, say, the Maestro or the Smoke. So they are in a great position to continue to defend this out. Or at least the Capitao and the Lion are alive a little bit longer. Thatcher, not such a big deal.
Even losing the Nitro Cell on Panics, you still have one on enemy on the Valkyrie, who's come for a light rotation all the way towards the basement stairs coming up now. Got a man holding at the top of Armory Stairs, but I don't think he has any holes to look down. Assuming that enemy is still alive, he's dancing back and forth with Aguila, tries to launch at the Nitro Cell, but a good save from Aguila. He's down to about 30 HP himself now. Looking down with a shotgun through the holes. Babu's only going to take a little bit of damage. There's only a few of those pellets made a connection. It's a 3v3, so Prismatic fighting back, but everyone not at 100, and you've got the Thatcher and Lion, both significantly damaged. Serboss is going to spring up and try and light up what is left of Bob or Q. The Thatcher, he's going to win it out onto Serboss, so he's able to down him. The EOD will detonate. There's 20 seconds remaining. Hungry trying to launch out a smoke canister deep to the end of the hallway to stall it out, but Babu coming up white. He gets immediately traded out by Revan, but now Revan is alone, launching impacts in towards the hallway door. We've got one repelled on the kids' windows. They can't go in for a plant just yet, and Q is on one bullet. Anything will end him, and he's waiting for the repel in from Aguila. There's 3 seconds ticking away. Trying to peek the angle from behind the bomb. Revan just needs to hold out, but Q will round it out. He had the diffuser and didn't go for the plant with no time left. But Q, in the overtime of the round, is going to level the round count 1-1.
What a clutch play there from Q. Definitely a great save. As you mentioned, they were both on very low health. One bullet would have killed either of them. That was a terrible position to be in, and somehow they pulled out the win. Again, just like we saw the previous round, somehow the man advantage that Penta has seems to get whittled away very quickly at the end of the rounds. Yeah, we're not seeing those plants get down from Prismatic, but they are definitely managing to land a lot of kills towards the end. It does make me wonder if maybe they're just getting a little too aggro at the end of the rounds. They really need to just calm down, play some angles. You saw that from Revan, just a little too hyper there at the end. I mean, I liked the impact throw. I thought that was a nice try, but nonetheless, they're just overexposing themselves when they don't need to at the end of these rounds. They're not playing for time like the way they should be at this point. So that is one for Prismatic, but that is only one. They are tied up at this point. Penta are going to go with an interesting choice now. They could do dorms again. Really not necessary to go tower, so they've got to be pretty confident in this pick. Now they are going to 6-pick over to Valkyrie, which is, I'd say, one of the more essential operators for this bomb site, because you need that outside visibility to be able to go for any kind of jump outs or be able to somewhat safely retake parts of the tower itself.
Yeah, this is a weird selection. You still have upstairs when Prismatic are essentially just throwing their hard breacher to the wolves every single round, not conserving his life or utility at all.
Well, at least they don't need him this time so much.
Yeah, tower, not really a site where you need a lot of breach.
Well, I mean, in this case, that one that you're looking at right there, that wall, that is one that would help potentially to be able to blow that open, put some pressure into the attic as well, because you're not going to have someone coming up the ladder at you from meeting hall very often. So once you take control of that attic, on this particular attack, you're most likely going to keep it, assuming they don't flank around from behind you in the dorm. So assuming he doesn't die early on again, they might be able to get some use out of him, because he's probably not going to be heavily contested in the dorm side.
So Revan launching out Valkyrie cameras towards the northwest rappel, and acquiring that T3 control for tower is so monumental for the attackers.
That pretty much is it once you take that.
You can look down through the floor and shoot anyone trying to come up the stairs. You can have your planter come in through any of the attic rooftop windows, and it's over at that point. So
yeah, I mean, you can potentially kill the person that's playing up there with, say, C4 from below or shooting some holes, but then again, that person can be quickly replaced by another because you've lost that control. You're not going to have time to creep up that ladder again and retake T3 control. So once it's lost, yeah, it's pretty much generally lost. They are going to, of course, dedicate some ADSs to be able to keep Panics alive here. As we're talking about, this is T3 right here, tower level 3 for anyone who doesn't understand the naming convention there. It is important to hold that as long as possible, but there's so many teams now that are adept at taking it. It is risky to just have, say, one man up there. There's the thermite breach that we were talking about earlier. Mute Jammer does get taken out by that Thatcher, who is, again, alive. Great read by Q there. So, unfortunately for Serboss, C4 is pretty much the only play he has at this point.
Yeah, it looked like he was prepping it, but didn't actually go for it. And now a long run out here for Hungry, but a quick drop to the deck by YLZ will keep his life intact. Spotting out on the Valkyrie cameras, and the ping startled him enough, and he knew the run was coming, and Serboss, not aware of the push in by Aguila, removes that Nitro Cell possibility from his hands, and a lot of meeting control surrendered now. You've got one more filling in on the backside. It's Revan, the Valkyrie, trying to spray in, but an MPX at that range in towards meeting is not going to do a lot of damage.
Oh, enemy pulled off at just the wrong moment there. Babu, though, didn't really get any advantage out of it either, so Revan going to hold an angle that is unfortunately not going to work whatsoever, especially against a gun like that. Like I said, MPX is a little bit of a pea shooter, and unfortunately, he just did not have the reaction time there. So, meeting hall control, attic control, everything but T3 going over to the attackers, but enemy at least trading one back. Still advantage Prismatic.
And they still have the top tower control, which is crucial. You got a shotgun on Hungry lined up, and he's going to use the smoke canister to repel the push in through attic as the EOD detonates. Enemy being concussed will pull him off his yokai as YLZ's going to go in for the plant. 30 seconds remaining, and enemy's going to have to take this kill to stall it out. The plant is looking like it's going to get completed. Panics, though, is going to drop Babu, and there's the Yokai to stall out the plant for just a moment longer. Reinitiated now by YLZ downstairs. You got cover, one in Attic and one inside the tower stairs. Neat little parkour there, and Hungary's going to remove the contention from Attic, but the plant's still being stalled out by the Yokai. This is a bad spot for Prismatic. Panics with another one going for the jump out, unable to claim the final kill, but he will with the P12 in the end. Panics going huge. PENTA win tower.
And not only is it a surprise that they won tower, that was actually Prismatic at a huge advantage, not losing the hard breach early on. He got to do his job first. Everything was working out in Prismatic's favor because they only lost that thermite after they didn't need him anymore, but somehow everything got turned around, and that was the closest they've been to getting a plant down so far. Good play by the Echo, just completely stalling that out, and good read, of course, from the Jaeger of Panics, coming back down when he needed to. It took him a few seconds, but it is odd to see how that really turned around, but as you mentioned, they didn't get T3 control, and that is exactly why they lost that there. But some good plays by PENTA overall. So they're going to be a little bit smarter this time, go to Laundry. They're not going to try Kitchen or something crazy like that. So here they go back to Laundry, and imagine after this they're going to go to Dorms if they have to.
Six-pick phase, and no one is opting to pull the trigger on a six-pick. We've seen some pretty interesting six-picks so far just through 3 rounds, and then the 4th, we've got nothing. So everyone showing their full deck of cards. And
sometimes this deep in, you just got nothing else you need to hide.
Yeah, I mean, I think the lineups have stayed pretty stationary for the most part. Now you have Panics on the Ella instead of Hungary. So
he plays that operator so much, though. It is not a surprise, but I think Hungary is normally a good player on that as well.
Yeah, Hungary taking up Panics' smoke roll, so they swap that back and forth. And
I would agree with that, though. I think Hungary is a better smoke, and we know Panics is good on Ella, so I think that does suit their usual play style a bit better, as Hungary is the newer member to the team besides Sir Boss.
Yeah, and we saw that in DreamHack as well, the adaptations of the roles. It seemed like PENTA became much more fluid with their roles. They weren't as rigid as they used to be. They maneuvered things a lot better, and it seemed like the aggression helped with that as well. They stepped up their aggression, bringing in Hungary and Sir Boss, and that seemed to light a fire under everyone and kind of, I don't know, just make them a little more comfortable with maneuvering into different roles, different operators, different segments of the map.
I think overall their new team is a bit stronger.
Yes.
I think it's been working out. Sir Boss is a pretty good fragger as well, and that's why you stick him on something like Jaeger. But credit to Enemy, though, on that Echo last time. Definitely made a difference, but also combined with the smoke. So see if they could stall out a plant again this time around. Now you're going to have Panics on that Ella upstairs. They could section him off pretty quick, but it looks like they're going for a middle floor take first instead. Although Aguila looking like he almost caught Sir Boss upstairs in that. Unfortunately for Sir Boss, that is a death trap if you cannot win your gunfight there. And the EE1D, if he goes to trigger it, could put him in a real tough spot in that gunfight.
Aguila going to rely on a drone call from someone else, and it's actually Q on the first engagement with Sir Boss up in Armory. Unless he's got the window prepped, looks like he does. There's a piece of wood at the bottom left of the floor. Drone is going to get spotted. They know where Sir Boss is. The EOD is going to go out, and he's going to be locked in place. Trying to hold the angle. He's not going to go for the run. Missing the shots. Being detected. 2 bearing down on him from the stairs. No one landing their shots right now. It's actually Sir Boss coming out on top in the engagement so far. Aguila down to about 60 HP, trying to spray wildly into Master, but it's Revan taking down Q on the flank through Master Hallway. This entire push upstairs to Armory has been completely repelled. Jackal scans coming out from Babu. Going to lock down the location of Revan in the hallway, but there's no pressure coming in from Prismatic just yet.
And now last time when they were playing down in Laundry, we saw a very fast upstairs take by Prismatic. I feel like PENTA read into that and decided to make it 10 times harder for them to take the top floor, and that was absolutely the right call. They are slowing them down. They are whittling them down as Panics gets another one, so they no longer can jack the track. Second EE1D going off as Panics gets a kill, and Revan follows it up.
It's all Aguila now at 5 HP. Unsure of where he is right now, as the diffuser's been lost out on the balcony. He's coming up white stairs, the same position that Babu tried to engage with, and Panics dumpster him at the top. One shot through the wall from Panics will finish this, and Aguila's going to retreat to safety. No diffuser, 1v5, no time, no health. It's all over as the Echo Drone's going to lock in the location by Enemy, and everyone is going to converge on him like a ranked ending round. And Aguila's trying to retreat even deeper in towards Kitchen. I don't know if he's trying to save the op, waste the time, and let everyone communicate on what they should do next round, but he's got no option out, held from every possible angle. I think it's going to be Panics cleaning that up, and that would be a 3K for Panics or Revan if he gets another one as well. It'd be a 3K for either one. Now laying prone on the main stairs as Aguila approaches ever so slowly. We're going to walk into a shotgun. It's over. Hungry. He's going to end it nice and simply. PENTA up 3-1, heading into their last defensive round in regulation unless we go OT.
Well, that was unfortunate for Aguila. All he could do at that point was try and pad his stats. He almost would have been better off just going back to spawn, and I hate to say that, but he was on such low health, had no way to get reset or anything like that. It was just a tough situation to be in, and I think he played it maybe as well as he could, but yeah, against a shotgun like that, it didn't even have to be remotely accurate to get that kill. So we are going to go to a tactical pause, though, as I imagine it's probably Prismatic trying to rethink what they're doing here at this point.
Yeah, I would say for a tac pause, not sure actually who called the tac pause, but if it's Prismatic's side, then they need to regroup. And I imagine, like I said there, I don't know if he's stalling time to try and pick up the comms with the team to figure out what they need to do next round. For Prismatic, I mean, there were a lot of throws early on with that breacher. Just, it was Prismatic with the
Makes sense. They have their coach
break
here as well, so.
That breacher being thrown away every single round in the beginning was a mess, and then even their initial roam clear right now, when they find any kind of resistance early on in their clear, they can't push through that and send themselves to the second phase of the attack. I think their best attack was on to Tower, which is arguably the worst defensive site on Oregon to hold.
I mean, they did win one round on Dorms, which was, I mean, that was definitely down to, I think, PENTA playing a little bit worse, but them also managing to step it up in the second half, like you're talking about, they tend to not do. I mean, we still have yet to see them get a single plant down. Closest, like they said, they got was Tower. And, you know, in terms of these attacks where they even have some man advantage, it's just not translating into something that puts pressure on PENTA. Well, Dorms it is again, though, of course. Not going to be able really to go to Tower again, even if they wanted to. Kitchen, I suppose they could go, but that would be a terrible idea.
So one last defense for PENTA in regulation. Babu gonna 6-pick off the IQ with Dokkaebi. The first time we're seeing a Dokkaebi in play today. And a Valkyrie.
I still think they would be better off with the IQ, because IQ would have been a good counter to either of those plays from enemy, a Valkyrie or a Vigil, are both well countered by that. So it seems odd that he's not really sticking to that, because that's a good operator as well. I mean, Dokkaebi, don't get me wrong, definitely good, but the secondary got nerfed quite a bit, and you have to play the CZ now, which not everyone is very good with, and that the way the recoil jumps that iron sight into your face makes it a struggle sometimes to use that gun.
Yeah, we saw in the first matchup the SMG-12 recoil. I think whoever it was, I'm actually not going to venture a guess. And whoever was the Vigil whipped out the SMG-12, mag dumped at the opponent probably 10 meters away. It painted a circle around it, but never landed a bullet. So.
I was going to get to the point with the recoil in that gun where you accidentally shoot yourself.
Yep.
But either way, some people have gotten a little more used to it and are feeling more confident playing it, but it is definitely risky. We are seeing finally Prismatic bringing Hibana instead of Thermite, but still no double hard breacher. It seems like, it makes me wonder if they would go double hard breacher if they didn't have the Lion as a possibility. But since they do, I mean, that is definitely a dedicated slot you're going to get at this point, because there's no reason not to run it.
So enemy had a pretty fun roam game last time. He defended up here with a run out, and especially when they defended Tower as well. Lots of runs, lots of aggressive play from, actually it wasn't enemy on the Valkyrie last time, but same operator, same kind of play style. He gets thrown down at the back tower stairs, and PENTA have a lot of map control in various areas right now. They're not playing very condensed like we've seen from a lot of teams so far today. This is a very spread out defense, and really on kids' dorms is what you need to do. There's not a lot of real estate where you can all bunker in together. There's too many angles. Yeah,
absolutely. And like I said before, they were struggling a little bit sometimes on Laundry in terms of being turtled in and not being able to play that. So they did the exact opposite of that last round. They sent half the people upstairs, and that again, that's where they're doing better. Just turtling up is not working, because that's, I feel like that's offering Prismatic the opportunity to get some of those last minute kills that are turning some rounds in their favor potentially. But either way, PENTA have yet to seek an engagement, but they've killed a lot of drones. They burned a lot of time. So good on PENTA here, because Prismatic are really going to have to make the best use of that Dokkaebi and Lion to start to put some pressure on these individual roamers to get some kind of man advantage.
Well, Prismatic not going full send on the tower take and push through attic on the kids' windows, but setting up for it. They're running out of time here really to complete the beginning of their push and start executing towards the objective. Enemy Getting some calls from Panics on that default camera looking around the stage. Oh, an EMP from Q almost took down a smoke canister as it was being detonated underneath the window.
Yeah, definitely the timing there not working out, unfortunately, for Q. And we're seeing just a lot of sitting around here. Looks like that Evil Eye might have got stunted a little bit by a Thatcher EMP. It will be back in force soon here, but in the meantime, YLZ with a great grenade kill onto the smoke. They have now cleared out that kid's bedroom.
Watching the cams, the first phone call will come out now from Babu as he's holding the big window, and they've got that first pick, but a lot of stalling right now from Prismatic. They're going to need to push into the objective quite heavily, and it's going to be a tidal wave of force crashing down on the shores of Penta, spraying in from the top of White Stairs. Serboss and Revan tack on 2. They reacquired the man advantage. 20 seconds remaining. They've cleared out the big window control, which is massive as well. Q getting spotted on a default camera. 15 seconds remaining. A nitro cell in hand inside a generator. Enemy with another one onto Q. Repelled into kids now is the real MC. YLZ being taken down from the hip fire inside of kids. There's only one remaining. The MC is still out on the attic rooftop. There's no time, and Penta are going to head up 4-1 into the second half.
Well, Serboss obviously didn't need to feed that kill to the real MC there, but it definitely made no difference. The hip fire on Maestro's gun is such a beast. No surprise that he was able to land that. With 80 rounds, you pretty much don't have to care about ADSing in unless you're engaging at long range. So, unfortunately, for Prismatic, that was much more of a round like I would expect from Penta. They are just playing so well when spread out, as we were highlighting earlier. Prismatic just don't seem to have the ability to pinch on these individual players, and the drones aren't lasting very long. You saw, for example, Enemy killing quite a few drones just hanging out in tower. Because of that, it seems like Prismatic aren't able to really play as a team enough to crush individual Penta players, and that's costing them a lot here on these spread out attacks. We are going to try Laundry one last time here. Or no, the first time, sorry, rather, the side switch has happened. Prismatic's picking it for their first site.
Yeah, 6-pick to an Echo off the Vigil from Aguila. And yeah, last round I was super confused at what the actual idea for Prismatic was for the take. I mean, you had 3 people entry in into T2 and T3. They open up the back of the attic wall to push Serboss out, who was the Maestro playing in attic originally. But then there's only one person repelling kids. There's 10 seconds left, and you still got a guy connector window or highway window, balcony, whatever you want to call it. You've got one guy at the main window. You've got a guy trying to enter bottom white. Like
they kept changing their mind, it seems.
They just had no semblance of an organized push. Everyone was going in off and doing their own thing, and then trying to pick up whatever they could. And yeah, Panic's rocking the Maverick.
There we go. Finally, our first Maverick. Probably one of the few we'll see this entire tournament. It's just he's not quite as a heavy pick as we would have thought, despite the fact that his gadget pretty much makes no noise for the most part, and it makes it very difficult to deal with. So hopefully we'll see some tricky tricks from Panics, maybe sneak it in some holes to get some kills. But you never know, a lot of that comes down to timing and positioning. So we'll see here, as they are going to be, of course, abusing the Lion from Serboss. Like we said earlier, no reason not to. They again also have the one hard breacher. So hopefully Enemy will live a little bit longer than the Thermites were living on Prismatic. They are at least getting some early droning in here, but getting slowed down a little bit as they use their first of the 2 EU1Ds. And Hungry gets his kill right onto that Legion.
Well, locked in place, I believe, inside a kitchen or meeting, and not a lot he could do there. Babu's still in the back of meeting as he's left alone now. His partner in crime being decimated, and there goes a Yokai as well. This is a bad start for Prismatic, losing a lot of utility. The Legion down extremely early, 30 seconds in, so there's no boom mines around the map. You lose a Yokai already, and you've lost a lot of map control as well. You've got a castle right now with a UMP, which we've gone over is not the greatest weapon in the world on defense to try and solo hold meeting.
And he still had one armor panel left. Got to question what he was doing in terms of just using 2. I feel like there's got to be one place he could have put that last one. It just does not seem like they're well coordinated this round. And they don't have a lot of late round utility. The second Yokai is all they have for late game defense here, because the rest of them are pretty much depending on fragging. Yeah, they've got the Evil Eyes, but chances are those aren't going to factor in too heavily.
Especially on the Oregon plant downstairs. It looks like they're getting very aggressive, playing in behind the island and pressuring up from the hallway. YLZ's gone for a long flank all the way up to the attic hatch. It's going to drop down into meeting. So is Babu, so they've evacuated meeting and try and lull Penta into a false sense of security and bait them into meeting and try and mercilessly ravage them from above. Flashbangs coming in. Revan partially blinded, but will back off. There's still plenty of time for the execute here for Penta. They just need to be wary of this top flank that's coming in.
Yeah, definitely going to be the case here. They are sitting with a lot of claymores, and that will help with some of that flank potential, but they just have to make sure they have, I mean, they have the manpower for flank watch at this point. Although, as I say that, there goes Hungry, Zofia down, and that's an important operator in terms of pressure. But nonetheless, a second kill from Prismatic is turning this around very well for them.
On the left side of meeting, they're going to launch in flashbangs, and they all rush in. The look away from WildZ will save him. He's a little over half, but Panics will delete him mercilessly again through I think it was a Maverick hole on the opposite side of the meeting wall. Now pushing down, Babu has the top stairs control, but he whiffs the shots onto Revan. He's going to have to back off and hold out. The last two anchors on site, Aguila and Ku. Rushing in now, Sirboss and Panics tack on two before Q takes out Revan. It's all Babu now coming on the flank from above, spraying into hallway. Sirboss has the plant being executed now inside of supply room. A rare plant you don't see every day and trying to retake. At least there's no mirrors, and Panics has been down through the racks. It's a 1v1. Sirboss against Babu, equal health. A little bit favored in Sirboss's side. He also has the assault rifle versus the UMP. Pre-fire coming out, neither of them landing the shots, but it's Babu coming back. No, the revive! Sirboss actually picked up Panics, and in the dying seconds, he turns the corner and ends the round.
Beautiful play. That is definitely great heads-up play there, and we didn't even see that coming. That was fantastic, no. But I got to question Prismatic's defenses, because not only did we see Castle with one armor panel left, I saw Echo had one barbed wire left as well. What are you picking these gadgets for if you're not going to use them? I mean, that just says to me, you guys have not dry run these defenses. You have not practiced this enough to be fully utilizing the operators you're picking, and that worries me for these future rounds. But the way things are going here, this is the last round either way. I mean, we'll see. This Frost, very likely to be a 6 picked off of. We'll see what it goes to, but I'm definitely worried for Prismatic, although that was surprisingly close at the end of that last round, much like many of the defense rounds for Penta.
And he called it right on. 6 pick off the Frost for Q onto Valkyrie. Pretty standard lineup, as we saw a lot of Valkyrie coming out from Penta, and they'll head upstairs. They don't want to try and repeat what just happened. I think the flank from WildZ and Babu was actually fairly well executed, and it was very deceitful as well. There was no information on that. The flank drones weren't quite there on Penta's side, so being able to maneuver the map properly like that and already having the proper setup as far as rotation holes, yeah, they're definitely not putting down in all of their utility, which is an issue, but they at least have the map set up in a way where they can maneuver 4 flanks like that, which typically aren't afforded to you. If you're a good attacking team at the top tier of competitive play in Siege, on Oregon, that's your #1 Q. That's the only way they can get to you unless they're pushing through meeting. You usually lock that down, Penta leaving a gap, but it just doesn't afford a wide enough angle for Prismatic to take full hold of the round.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a good effort here. We'll see if we see something similar on this defensive site. They could potentially position people or rotate people through the bottom floor and to do something similar, but chances are they may not get to that point. There is, again, the Lion. The Maverick's still coming out from Panics. We didn't see a whole lot from that, but Sirboss with a great drone there, spotting that T3 play from the Jaeger. I feel like what I was watching yesterday as well, WildZ on that Jaeger had a lot of really good clutch plays. He is definitely a fantastic player, but he's going to have to hold that T3 for as long as he can or fall off it if he can burn enough time first.
Yeah, I'm not sure what WildZ's mentality is with this hold in T3 necessarily. Is he going to go too aggro, or is he going to play very reserved and passive? A nice on the armory window. That's not going to land. And Hungry didn't want to re-engage for the peak, and Babu was going to escape to safety down the main stairs, but early utility loss there for Prismatic.
Oh, I like the gumption here. Fortunately for him, just the positioning didn't work out, and there was a second one watching. But this is going to slow down the attack, which is definitely what you want to do if you're roaming, even if it's contested. But Babu making it happen here onto Hungry. That's really going to nerf some of his stats.
Babu playing with fires. He's going to jump out for the second one, but he whiffs all the shots on enemy. A trade out as the rotation lock as he went for the vault stopped his aiming in towards.
You can't blame that on recoil because the ump has none.
True. Down to a 4v4. Trying to open up the walls. There was holes in the floor where actually, yes, if you try and thermite the wall inside of generator, if you have shotgun holes in the floor on either side of that wall, if you throw the smoke into the hole, it'll elevate through both holes and damage the thermite.
Definitely something that potentially did some damage, but not a lot, and he used his breaching charge again elsewhere instead. So I don't think that really did a lot other than a slight slowdown, but it is nice to get a little bit of damage on the enemy. So not the worst play. Hopefully he's going to be a bit more precise with those last 2 smoke canisters, though.
Real MC is going to be swapping with Aguila. Aguila was pushed down white stairs. He's playing with the shotgun below. The thermite hole will finally get opened up inside a generator as Penta continue their collapse onto the objective. But it's the Real MC going for a rotate downstairs and looking through these kill holes that Aguila has made for him. Another smoke canister coming out, and there's 2 smokes on the side of Revan as well with the smoke bolts as well. YLZ has been left to his own devices throughout this entire round, and a flank coming in could be devastating towards Penta as they're running out of time, but dumping all the utility in. The EOD goes out and panics. He's going to drop Aguila. A second one detected inside of Kids, but no, the Real MC from below with the kill holes will drop enemy. Turning in and expecting this flank now from YLZ, probably on a drone as he's coming up the main stairs. Q is going to take down Panics, but a great shot from YLZ. Diffuser lost inside of Generator, and it's all up to Sir Boss now. Diffuser is completed, and there's a 3v1 to hold out. Holding inside of the closet is Sir Boss. Going to go for the aggressive peek, but no, Q wins it out. Prismatic going to stave off elimination to the loser's bracket for at least 1 more round.
Well, if you could say Penta's doing one thing wrong, it's got to be flank watch. As you mentioned quite a few times, those flanks coming around from Prismatic, definitely in the strength of this team right now. One of the few things that's keeping them in this. They are still going to be at map and match point, though. So, unfortunately for them, they've got a heck of a road to try and come back on this, but they're definitely putting in a good effort for it. I appreciate what they're doing with those late flanks and how much manpower they still had left, but it meant they also gave up sight, gave the chance for Penta to get that plant down. Had Penta been doing a better job watching flank after getting that plant down, I don't think Prismatic would have been able to take that round, but good on them for taking it. Now we'll see them go back down to Laundry, a bomb site they lost last time. So far they've only won dorm, so we'll see if they can change things up on that, as we don't see a whole lot of change coming out from Penta here.
No, Penta enjoying the lineup they're rocking. Similar thing we saw with Empire early on. They have their 5 operators, but the thing I like about the Penta lineup so much more is it has a lot more depth to the roster as far as utility. You've got the Capital and a Maverick and a Lion, things that were just not being run on Consulate for Empire. They were running very standard point-and-click operators that didn't have a lot of depth or utility. Mainly because that chemistry and that cohesion wasn't really there for Empire, versus on Penta, where we've really seen a great demonstration of that, executing as one whole unit instead of individuals versus Prismatic's attacks, which were very individually focused. The only problem, like you said, is the flank watching. They're moving as a unit, they're just not watching their backside together. And it
might just be the angles they're choosing to watch just aren't the ones that Prismatic's using.
Yeah.
Hard to see because, of course, we don't see every player all the time. So, yeah, it definitely is not working, though, either way, whether they're not doing it or whether they're just doing it wrong. Prismatic are exploiting that, but I still feel like this is Penta's opportunity to expect it this time, because we saw it happen. They didn't manage to succeed with it, but we did see it happen last time as well on this bomb site. So all they've got to do is really cut off the meeting hall and make sure that the meeting hall and the kitchen hallway don't work against them once they go for the take. If Penta can do that, should be an easy win for them at this point. But I'm glad to see that Prismatic haven't felt like they're out of the game yet. I just hope they're going to use all their utility this round, because there's no excuse to not use an extra barbed wire.
The big thing for me is this meeting hold. When you're putting in all of these reinforcements, it means Panics is just going to run roughshot with the Maverick. And as soon as you see the Maverick coming out and it's not banned, and Panics utilized it quite well last time, the first thing I do is swap off of a meeting hold so entrenched and go for a more flexible roam game up top, like we saw Penta do when they defended the basement the second time.
Oh.
The Real MC getting aggressive.
It unfortunately did not work out for him either. That is a big waste of that castle barricade down. Still 2 armor panels in your pocket. Babu, I think you're playing the wrong operator, my man.
Just a bad use of utility. A thermite charge will be used on the pantry wall as Babu drops. Could have been unfortunate timing, but he will escape with his life, if only for a little bit longer. YLZ is holding from above inside of Attic, but he's going to drop down the tower stairs, anticipating the push. The EOD going to hold all the defenders in place. The Maverick being used to get rid of the mute chamber so they can open up the hatch down below.
I was hoping to see that in Pro League. It never did.
It's a good strategy to use as long as you have the cover, as you are with that castle barricade being ripped open by the Real MC. Very exposed while you do it as a Maverick.
Yeah, that was risky, but they've kept pressure on him, so that's definitely working here. Well, either way, they are getting good control here. They are starting to force some of them back to site, but they haven't cleared meeting hall. Again, this is where you need serious flank watch. They have all 5 alive, which is what you want to do. Enemy almost gets one in meeting hall, so he's going to continue to pressure. He has used both his exothermic charges, so they don't need him anymore. So that is a good use of enemy to try and help with that here. Panics, though, still needs to rotate around to help with this. Hungry, at least alive, a little bit longer this time.
The Real MC has been down inside of meeting, and enemy will clean that as I say it. It's a 4v5, 50 seconds ticking down, and just an onslaught of attackers rushing down the main stairs for PENTA as they try and swarm the objective and close out this best of 1 on Oregon to advance them to the winner bracket final. Holding the main stairs right now is Hungry on the Zofia. No ACOG on as he usually rocks the Reflex. And time now ticking away for PENTA, but the execute is looking very good. They're going to have to rely on shooting out those yokai drones when they come into places. Panic's going to try and complete the plant. Babu detected, but Revan with the asphyxiating bolt is going to drop Aguila, a 2-man advantage. Babu injured, trying to go for the flank. The plant gets completed out the main stairs, looking up to the hatch. Q is able to light up Panics, but not complete the kill. Holding in behind the laundry machine is Panics, and Babu and Wild Zed at least grab 2, but they're still in a 2v3 to battle back out of. The diffuser is ticking away and there's no time left. Everyone on PENTA holding the necessary angles. Catastrophic failure with the only way PENTA lose this round, and rushing in towards the main stairs. Hungry will close it out. PENTA on to the winner bracket final.
Well, they definitely played the right game, but I still gotta applaud Prismatic for some of those plays in terms of those flanks they were trying to pull out. Definitely almost worked that round again, but nonetheless, it's just I don't know, I don't feel like they're well prepared for this again with the gadget usage. Just tells me they didn't dry run this. You don't pick operators and not use their gadgets